Hello students, welcome to Meso Study. So in the today's session we are dealing with the whole unit which is of ecology, and today we are dealing with the topic or the chapter organism and population. In the previous sessions, I guess we have discussed 2 sessions till now. In that 2 session of this chapter, we have discussed about the organisms and environment. What is the correlation between organism and environment is there, and also we have talked about the whole atmosphere. Hope the whole sessions which we have discussed earlier is clear to you. Now, in this session, I will be discussing about some more abiotic factor, but before that I would like to clarify some important words which are there in your books. Sometime in CBSE exam or in any other state board exam, they do ask such type of definitions, and the students get confused regarding the difference between the biome, different between the biosphere, different between the landscape. So these are the 3 important words that I'll discuss right now. So let's start the today's session first with the general introduction. In the previous class, I have discussed about organisms. Organism is what? Organism is considered as a basic unit of ecology. So this is a organism which is called as basic unit of ecology. Basic unit of ecology. After this organism, we have discussed about the population, right? So what was the next after this was population. Population is what? A group of individuals which belong to same species. Same species. Like, what we can say is that in a particular area, if I talk about in a particular area, suppose different populations are there. Some populations are of, let's talk about a general area. Some are like, you can talk about some butterflies are also there. Human beings also live there. Insects, they are also there. They all form community. So what was next after that? I am not giving you definition. Community. So that is a group of population. That means if I have one particular area, and in that particular area, if I see that different populations are there, like this is a population of species 1, this is a population of species 2, this is a population of species 3. Let's say these are the butterflies, let's say these are the human beings, let's say these are the certain other animals. If they live in a particular area, they are depending upon one upon another. Such type of community is, such type of structure as a whole is called as a community. So this is, let's talk about, this is a species 1, this is a species 2, so this is a species 3. So they all constitute and they form what? Community. After this community, I have discussed about the ecosystem. So what was ecosystem? Ecosystem is that when group of populations, when they start interacting with environment, and in environment we have discussed about the 2 type of factor. One is a biotic factor and second is a abiotic factor. So can I write ecosystem as a physical factor plus population? Physical factors plus, this is called as a physical factor plus, you can call it is at the different populations we have, right? When they all constitute, they form ecosystem. In the physical factor also, I have divided these into two further subtypes. The first is called as a biotic factor. Biotic means living, and second is called as a abiotic, which means non-living. So these are the two important words. When we talk about the biotic, that means living beings are there. So let's talk about those living beings. Living are those which can produce their own food. Sometimes they do produce their own food, sometimes they depend upon other organism for the food. They do exchange of energy. So biotic here means, let's start with the producer. In this we have examples like plants or producers. Similarly, we have another like consumer, etc. So they all come under the biotic factors. Let's talk about the abiotic. Abiotic here means non-living. So the non-living here means these are the very important factors that directly or indirectly affect a different organism. Like we have studied also in the previous sessions, we have talked about, I guess, atmosphere, different layers of atmosphere we have. Rest I will continue in this session only. So abiotic, you can take the example of light, because light is important for what? Photosynthesis, and photosynthesis is done by producers, and with the help of producer different food chain arises. Not only light, we have other factors also. Let's talk about them. In the abiotic factors, we have soil also. Soil is that property of earth that give us nutrient, inorganic nutrients they give. We also, the other abiotic factor is also called as a temperature, and temperature is a factor of rainfall or humidity. So this is also one of the factor. And another, last but not the least, a very important factor, which is called as a water. Water is also important for survivability. So these all constitute a ecosystem. So in the previous session we have already deal with all of these words, but still some of the students, they have complaints, they always have such type of confusions regarding all of these words. After this ecosystem, there comes another factors. Let's discuss about them. You must have heard of a word landscape. Landscape. Let's discuss about landscape. As the name indicates, landscape, that means it is what? It is a unit of land. So can I write this as unit of land? Unit of land is there. Now, suppose this is a landscape. In the landscape, I see that various ecosystems are there. And what are those ecosystems? Like you must have heard of aquatic ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, forest ecosystem, etc. They are present. If they all are present within a defined area, within a defined land, that is called as a landscape. Like when you were in small classes, when teacher used to tell you draw a landscape, then what you do? You draw one mountain. From that mountain the sun rises, and below that you see some plants are there, some animals are there, some pond is also there, that water comes out, like that landscape you used to draw. So keep that picture in your mind. So here the mountains are there in that picture. Hope you remember that mountains are there, that means physical factors are there. In physical factor we have drawn another like sun also. Similarly other physical factors like you must have drawn water bodies also there, and we know that in the water bodies the animals are there, so that constitute aquatic ecosystem. You must have drawn some trees also there, so trees comes under the forest ecosystem, and some other animals they were also there, that come under the terrestrial ecosystem, right? So when they all come under a unit of land, they are called as a landscape. So can I draw this like this? So I'm not drawing the whole landscape because that will be very difficult for me to draw. So let's talk about this. This is a grassland ecosystem. Grassland ecosystem. Similarly, let's talk about this. Suppose these are some ponds or lakes are there, and on which we can see that some aquatic animals they live there, like fishes, starting from phytoplankton, etc., zooplanktons, etc. So this is called as a aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem. And after this aquatic system, let's take one more example of a tree ecosystem, right? So can I label this as a tree ecosystem? So they all come under a unit of land which is called as a landscape. Similarly, you must have heard of another space. Let's talk about another space. You can take an example of like biomes. Yeah, you can take example biome. So biome is what? Suppose you give a defined condition in a biome. You specify that, let's talk about Arctic region. In Arctic region, everything is in permafrost conditions. Like everything is frozen. So what you will see there? Some of reindeer grasses will be there. Or what else you will see over there? So you will see that some animals like polar bears will be there. So biome is that particular place which have their defined environmental conditions, and also some specific flora and fauna present there. So let's talk about the biome. In the biome, specific environmental condition. Specific environmental condition. And in that specific environmental condition, let's take an example like temperature is there. A specific temperature I am talking about. A specific temperature is there, and you can also discuss about the specific light falls over there. Right? And humidity, rainfall, etc., they all come under this biome. So this is a physical environmental condition which is present over there, and simultaneously it decide that this much amount or this type of living beings should be there, this type of fauna and flora should be there. So they have a defined flora and fauna. Defined flora and fauna. Let's talk about some examples of biome. You must have heard of tundra. Tundra biome. All the things are in permafrost conditions. Similarly, we have taiga biome. So that I'll discuss about these biome in this chapter only. This is a taiga biome. And also you can take an example like tropical rainforest or tropical regions. You have a regions like temperate region. So hope you remember the previous session when I have drawn the whole diagram starting from equator to poles, tropical, subtropical, temperate, and we have the another Arctic, Antarctic regions. So when you move from equator towards the pole, the temperature decreases and also the light also decreases. When we see on the equator, the sun rays they fall vertically, whereas in poles sun rays doesn't fall vertically. So tropical regions are there. Similarly, let's talk about the temperate regions are there. So they have some specific conditions over there. Similarly, some are grasslands there, and in the grassland there are further subcategories like savannas are there. So trees, scattered trees with grasses, so they all come under this category. So tropical, they will be having a specific environmental condition, some specific trees and the faunas will be there. Similarly, the temperate condition, the different conditions will be seen. Hope you are clear with these two important words, for flora and fauna. Flora means plants and fauna means animals. So this was the biome, right? Now, If we discuss further, you must have heard of another word which is called as a biosphere. Now come at this side, let's discuss about biosphere. Biosphere, another word. So how to remember these biosphere? We have very defined atmosphere. This is what? Atmosphere, a defined atmosphere. Similarly, we have a well-defined lithosphere. Likewise, we have well-defined hydrospheres, and all of these, they are overlapping with one another. So one is atmosphere and another is lithosphere, and the third one here, this is called as a hydrosphere. Now listen to this very carefully. Some of living beings, they are present over here. Some living beings, they are present over there. We know that fishes and some aquatic animals are there which live in water. So they all constitute hydrosphere. Similarly, some animals, they live in such land or terrestrial ecosystem, they constitute this. Similarly, we have certain organisms which live on atmosphere. So you might be wondering what type of animal live in atmosphere. We have like bacteria are there, some fungi are there, whose spores are there in atmosphere. So they all come under. Don't give an example of birds over there. Bird doesn't constitute, birds are not present in atmosphere. Though they fly over there, that doesn't mean that live over there. So you can see that lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere are there. In each of these, we can see that living beings are there. What we have is living organisms. We have living organisms in all of these spaces, and these living organisms which are present in these, they all constitute biosphere, right? And these living organisms, now just give me one example, I have one questions to ask. Out of all of these, atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere, in which of the two major living beings, living organisms live? Answer is lithosphere and hydrosphere. These are the two regions where major living organisms, they live. And atmosphere, though the living beings are there, but they are in very small amount. So this is the third one, which is called as a biosphere. Hope this third one is also clear to you, right? Now come at this side, let's discuss about. So we have learnt, I have given you some basic things regarding landscape, biome and the biosphere. Now let's discuss about, in the previous session we have completed atmosphere, right? Now we will discuss about some another abiotic factors. Atmosphere we have completed. Now we will talk about light. Why light is important. Likewise, I will discuss different abiotic factors one by one. Water, light, soil conditions. So let's discuss about light. Now, why light is important? First of all, it's important for the visibility. That is a different thing, because that is a secondary thing. But why it is important? We are depending upon producers, and what are producers? Producers are plants, and we are depending on producers for what? We are depending on them for food. either you are vegetarian or non-vegetarians, you are depending upon plants for food. You cannot completely rely on animals for food. Directly or indirectly, you need plants for, suppose you want to prepare one dish which is of some non-veg, you can take a chicken or something like that. Will you be able to cook without using any plant? No, you will not, because you need spices, and for that spices they come from plants only, right? So directly, indirectly, we are depending upon them. So light, why this light is important? Light help in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Light help in photosynthesis, and who do this photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is done by producers. And what are producers? That means they are producing something. That means they are what? They are autotrophs. So can I write in bracket autotroph? That means they prepare food. So they help in photosynthesis. Producer and autotrophs are there, right? When we have to study intensity of light, intensity is studied by photometer. Is studied by photometer. By photometer, right? Now, when we discuss about light, that there are different zones in the light, starting from those which are having X-rays, similarly UV rays are there, similarly we have visible spectrum, and after that visible spectrum we have another which is called as a infrared, right? So let's discuss about the spectrum of light. This you must have studied in chemistry or physics, I don't remember, but let's talk about them. I am focusing only on visible spectrum. That visible spectrum which I am talking about right now, that comes under, that falls under the frequency, the wavelength of 400 to 700 nanometer. And this 400 to 700 nanometer is called as a visible spectrum. So can I write over here visible? Visible spectrum. Above this 700 nanometer, we have another important rays present which is called as infrared. And infrared are those which produce heating effect. Below this 400 nanometer, we have is UV rays. Starting from 100 to 400, we have present over here which is called as ultraviolet rays. Below ultraviolet rays, we have another rays which are called as X-rays. So this is how they are distributed. This is how they are distributed. When our visible spectrum, they falls under 400 to 700 nanometer, this is that part in which the photosynthesis occurs. So this spectrum, they help in photosynthesis. So such is called as a photosynthetic active region. And we can call it as PAR region. This is called as what? PAR region, 400 to 700, right? The light plays a very important role. Likewise, I have discussed about the UV rays. So I would like to discuss about in which of the wavelength do they fall. Because we have studied till now about stratosphere. That stratosphere, they absorb some light. Let's talk about them. We have different layer, UVC, UVB and UVA. These are the three type of UV rays. And if we talk about the upper one, UVC, they falls under the category of 100 to 280 nanometer. Similarly, the UVB, they falls under the category of 280 to 320 nanometer. Out of which the UVA, they falls under 320 to 400 nanometer. These are the three type of rays. UVB is that which produces, basically what this UVB they causes blindness, they causes snow blindness, right? So UV causes snow blindness, right? So today we have learnt about the different type of UV rays. Likewise, whenever these rays they fall on different substratum, either they fall on land or they fall on water bodies, there is a different action in both of the cases. When they fall on aquatic, like when they fall on the terrestrial, they help in photosynthesis. Similarly, some aquatic animals are there, some aquatic phytoplanktons are there that undergo photosynthesis, and they are depending upon light. Depending upon the distribution of light, we have divided the whole lake into different stratas or layer, right? So that I will discuss in next class. So students, this is all about the today's session. In the next session, we will continue the same and we will discuss about the more abiotic factors. So thank you so much students for watching this. We'll meet you in next session.